Hey there, guys. Well, I've got a pretty interesting article here that makes me feel things are coming to a precipice over in the United States. Because if you can actually get life in prison for having half an ounce of medical marijuana just because you're in a different state, then something's very wrong with the system. And I think people over in America that haven't realized that really need to realize that this is not normal to allow someone to go to prison for just half an ounce of a herb that's been used for thousands of years and only up into the 1940s or 50s became illegal. So all through that time, they've used it for lots of different things. You used to be able to burn the oil of hemp seed, which is cannabis seed, and they ran their lanterns on it. They made their uniforms of it. They made their ropes on their boats from it. This is an actual miracle plant that they have basically gone on to demonize and destroy so that they can allow the petrochemical companies of all the big boys to profit off our misery while they pollute and make our world toxic and our planet toxic and kill her. So not only do they do that, they also then treat their very citizens that live in their country and pay them and work for them basically as slaves. Well, they send them to jail for having half an ounce, like this poor chap, Chris Diaz. And I'll read out this article because it is quite a well-written article. Alex Webb wrote this on December the 7th, 2011, and it appears on examiner.com. Well now, all other crimes will have to wait. There's a pothead out there trying to score. Why waste time chasing rapists, murderers and meth manufacturers when it's so much easier to nab a stoner? How is it that governments and law enforcement is so against marijuana but supports the viewing and of the killing of a world leader on TV? And, you know, we really need to think about how Hillary Clinton behaved. And, you know, celebrating the death of a human, no matter who it is that really something that an evolved human being does? Anyway, and it goes on, we have Disney and Nickelodeon trying desperately to sell sex to our children, and with the rise of child sex offenders, their efforts are paying off. Well, we also see that the Vatican is someone that seems to now be getting exposed for all the offending that they have done, sexual offending they have done of young children. But it doesn't seem like they get any jail time, does it? No, no, no. They can molest children and rape them and murder them too, because they found all those bones that Kevin Annett is now doing that investigation on. Yes, well, they can do that, but we can't have Chris Diaz having a half an ounce of medical marijuana that he legally got in California. He can't have that in Texas. That's illegal. I mean, that's just insane. And for people to actually accept that as a fact of reality just goes to show how much people are hypnotized by the bread and circuses over there. And I've got some really good friends over there, and I know so many of you are not asleep, and I feel for you, and this is who the video is for, because you are doing it alone over there, and it's time that your countrymen stood up and faced the fact that things are getting a little bit tense over there. And, you know, more is needed. You know, there shouldn't just be 50,000 people in Wall Street. It should be 200,000 people or 500,000 people, because that's how much this is all affecting. That's how many people are affected. You're all affected by this. This guy could be anybody, not just he's not some druggie. You know, he just looks like a guy that went there, got a bit of pot and came home. And he's got asthma, and obviously it helped it. And, you know, there are medicinal qualities to marijuana. That's proven. It's just that they want to demonize it. So, It goes on to say, I guess none of the middle-aged mothers taking their clothes off for Justin Bieber ever sparked a joint and watched The Big Lebowski. Which one of those statements sounds more illegal? But let's digress. Okay, that's probably something that you guys would understand and completely goes over my head. 20-year-old Chris Diaz is an asthma sufferer from Texas. After learning medical marijuana was a successful treatment for asthma, he headed to California seeking medical treatment. Diaz was approved for medical marijuana in California for his serious condition. So he stocked up on what he could afford and headed back to his hometown of Texas. Well, he was pulled over on a Texan highway for having an expired license tag, routine traffic stop. But when Diaz wasn't able to produce a driver's license or proof of insurance, this alerted the police officer to what? Search his car? What, he can't just say, all right, I'm just going to fine you for, not having that and that now, get your ass home. Oh no, I'm going to search the entire car until I find something on this guy. Is that really the mentality that fellow Americans should have against each other? Because believe it or not, police officers, you are fellow Americans, and you should be thinking about what you're doing, because you know what, in a court of law, an international court of law, if you're breaking that and you are treating your citizens against national law, well, once America falls to its knees and everyone starts being tried over there, which is about what's to happen, well, all of you are going to be an accessory, because, you should know what the rules of engagement are, and you shouldn't actually go over them, the rules of engagement. So, any police officer over there that is doing the wrong thing and being brutal to your citizens may face an international tribunal one day. If the country falls and Bush and all of them are taken to international court, and who knows what will happen. I think the world's getting pretty pissed off. I feel there's a real change in tide against Obama and his frickin' chums. And I think people are getting a little bit sick of the warmongering and the whole Iranian drone thing. I think people are starting to get a little bit, amused by when they're starting to ask for it back now that they've been spying on another country. It's captured the drone and now they want it back. I mean, could you imagine if the shoe was on the other foot? So if it was an Iranian drone over the US and that getting captured, and then that people would say, that's okay for Iran to want it back. People need to think about that. It's all connected, guys. This guy might only be a guy that's being fined for medical marijuana. But it's the same thing. People are being screwed for things that they shouldn't be, for herb possession. It's ridiculous. And he's going to have, he's 20, and he's going to, he could be in jail for up to 20 years because he happened to have hash, and, hash isn't allowed in Texas. So you suddenly become, just from someone with a bit of marijuana to a full-scale criminal that deserves 20 years, including fines, for less than 4 grams. Oh no, that was only if he had his, okay, I'm reading this here. Okay, so under Texas law, marijuana possession of less than 2 ounces is a Class B misdemeanor that is punishable with fines up to 6 months in jail. But the hash is a totally different story. Possession of hash is a Class 2 felony punishable by up to 20 years, including fines if less than 4 grams. Diaz can only wish he was so lucky. He is charged with possession of a controlled substance with the intent to deliver. Half an ounce must be big time in Texas. Diaz was indicted by a Brown County grand jury, and now he faces up to life in prison. Thanks to those people on the grand jury over there, those mothers and fathers who are so ready to send a boy, a young man, his life gone for herb. I mean, seriously, people, you need to look at yourself. And then the writer goes on to say, why is Texas so worried about a small amount of pot, so much to the extent it takes someone's entire life away? Diaz's real crime was driving an unregistered plates and without a license and insurance. Some stiff fines to community service with a nip in the bud, but to focus on some small amount of marijuana and treating him like a murderer is just plain BS. No one is saying Diaz is innocent, but at the ripe age of 20, he deserves the opportunity to become a valuable citizen. Moral of the story is stay away from Texas. You're right, Alex. I would stay away from Texas if I lived over in America. And that's where George W. Bush is from too, if I'm not mistaken. And then we go over here to Oklahoma Watch, and we see this poor woman who happens to be a Native American, low socioeconomic, really probably some of the most vulnerable of the people of America would be the women, the Native American women and their children. Well, she's just been taken away from her children for 10 years because she had the audacity at 25 years of age to actually sell $31 worth of marijuana. And this is in Oklahoma, I think. What's on the Oklahoma Watch? Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong on that. And yeah, it says here Oklahoma. But basically, she does hard labor too. She has to work and earn money. And isn't it interesting that the prison is actually private? So we have to start thinking about that. Private prisons that make money from people being in them. And then someone that's 25 selling $31 of marijuana being in that prison for 10 years to create money. And money from the American people, because it's the government that pays these people that run these prisons. It's your money that you're paying to imprison yourself. So I'll link both the articles underneath. Guys, it's really time to start waking up. People have to understand that there's got to be more people out at Occupy. It's really hardcore to see, those hardcore people that are on the street and out there, but they need to basically be 10 times that many out there and stop this going on over there. Because it's ridiculous that people could do that. Could take a mother away from her children. Children have no mother for 10 years. Like, that's 5 people's lives that are destroyed on $31 of marijuana. I mean, sometimes I wonder if I'm even living, if this is, I'm in a dream. Suddenly everything's turned insane. That's considered normal now. And we're, oh yeah, that's okay. And we just go on with our lives and think that's completely normal. Would we have done that 50 years ago? I don't know. But I tell you what, we better wake up. These bread and circuses, people have got to stop consuming them and start understanding, because sooner or later it's going to be too late. All right, guys, well, I'll leave it there. So thanks for listening. Peace. See ya.